Isaiah Thomas could be out until the All-Star break with a hip injury. LeBron was reportedly concerned about IT's hip before the Cavs even pulled the trigger on that trade that sent Kyrie to Boston. Max, where are you on this? Is this a big deal or no big deal?
As long as he's back and healthy. Look, obviously all bets are off if he needed surgery and didn't get it, and then it would have been 6 months or a year before he's back and whatever. If he postpones something like that he winds up needing, so when he gets back he's really not Isaiah Thomas, then okay, fine. That's a bad thing. All bets are off. That's disaster, really, for Isaiah in a contract year, obviously for the Cavs, who need him to replace or approximate Kyrie Irving. But assuming he gets back to basically being Isaiah Thomas by the All-Star break, that's plenty of time to get his sea legs under him, to get the basketball shape, and to develop chemistry with his teammates on the way to the playoffs, where the Cavs are certainly headed, should LeBron James remain healthy, knock wood. I mean, that's really what we're talking about. And, in fact, we've also seen many instances in modern sports history where it's actually been to a benefit of an athlete to miss part of the early season. Even Tom Brady last year, because of the suspension, he was fresher in the second half. So, yes, the second half of the NBA season isn't a full half of season. It's something less than that. But I still think dozens of games will be enough time for Isaiah to fit in terms of chemistry. Don't forget, he'll be used likely in much of the same way offensively that Kyrie Irving was. That should not be too terribly difficult for him. And I don't see where it's a problem. And as a matter of fact, could even help them because he could be fresher by the playoffs. If he comes back healthy as Isaiah Thomas, then the All-Star break should not be a problem.
Well, I don't disagree with you, and I don't think anybody can disagree with that portion. I totally get it. You know, he comes back for 42 games or something like that, get his feet under him. He's 100% healthy. He's ready for the playoffs and fresh because he didn't put himself through a grueling 82-game schedule. Obviously, that works to the benefit of him and the Cleveland Cavaliers, one would surmise. But here's the part that I don't think we can ignore nor underestimate. Isaiah Thomas and anybody else playing with LeBron James is going to be better because LeBron James is their teammate. We understand that. But we also have to understand that this is a guy that averaged 28.9 points per game, is getting paid $6.3 million or $6.2 million this upcoming season. He's looking to validate and cement his status as a star in this league worthy of max dollars, because he's never been paid what he deserved. Like you pointed out on several occasions, Max, when you were doing drive time in LA and you desperately wanted the Lakers to bring him on board mainly because he could score and his contract was favorable. Well, he's tired of his contract being favorable to everybody else but himself. And so if he comes back, you got to remember, he's on a mission to really, really cement his status as a star and to prove his worth so he could get his money. He isn't somebody that will be coming back who already has their money. And just like Kyrie wanted out of Cleveland in part because of the $217 million extension on the table for Russell Westbrook, or the $207 million Steph Curry signed, or the $200+ million Chris Paul turned down from the Clippers, or the 3-year, $100 million deal Kyle Lowry signed with Toronto, or John Wall's $170 million extension, or even to a lesser degree Bradley Beal a year before getting $138 million. When you see those numbers, and it's enough to entice Kyrie Irving to sit up there and say, damn, look at what I'm missing out on. It's also going to be the case for Isaiah Thomas even more significantly because Kyrie is getting paid $20 million. Isaiah Thomas is at $6 million. Kyrie is in the midst of a $90 million contract. Isaiah Thomas never had that. So the sooner he gets back and the sooner he gets on the court, the more time it gives him to be him and to get his so he can get his money while not compromising their bottom line. That's the challenge of him coming back later than sooner. You know he's going to have those things on his mind, and you got to wonder how that's going to factor into things in terms of how they play together on the court.
I think he'll be okay, except other than maybe wanting his numbers, because unfortunately that's how guys get paid. But even then, Isaiah Thomas has been up against the idea that he's too small to get a max contract, and in fact has to be hidden on defense. When I would talk to people off mic, off the record, just on kind of background stuff about Isaiah, because I was trying to figure out why he wasn't $6.75 million a year when this guy was, you talk about scoring averages, Stephen A., in the 20s already in Sacramento, and just beyond that. He was balling. He was getting to the paint, making solid decisions with the ball. I thought he was an underrated point guard. He was kind of unstoppable in terms of his scoring, and he was getting under $7 million a year, and the new CBA was jacking up everyone else's salary. And what I heard was he's just too small for these teams to want to pay him. They think he's not a max contract player, and in fact, at the time, didn't think he was a half or third max contract player. So that will always be used against him. I don't know if he would have gotten the Supermax, even had he stayed in one place and been eligible for it, 5 years at the maximum possible money. I don't know that Isaiah Thomas would get that. And as you know, he's my favorite. I love Isaiah Thomas, but I also was skeptical that the Celtics would keep him around because he is going to get paid, and he is a unique player and one around which certain teams might think, how do we win a championship with him, considering when he needs to be on the floor in crunch time offensively, what we give up defensively. He's up against stuff like that. So I think wherever he plays, he's going to ball, and he's going to be balling for the dough. The question is, with LeBron James, if LeBron sees best fit to use Isaiah in such a way that Isaiah's numbers aren't inflated, does Isaiah go along with that because it's in service of going after a championship? Or does he think, whoa, I'm about to get paid, I need to get mine? My sense from Isaiah Thomas is the guy's a winner. That it's plain now that he can get his offensively, that the questions about him will persist no matter what he does, partly because they're true, partly because he is small and does have to be hitting on defense. But my sense is he's going to do fine with LeBron James if he's healthy, because he seems to me to be the type that's trying to win. He's very competitive. And I've never gotten the sense from him that he's a selfish player. Yes, he dominates the ball. That's the kind of player he is. But he's never given me the sense that that's a bad teammate or a selfish player. So I think he's going to be fine.